So then I could use like a prototype like you guys are talking about. You guys get this part. To then go upstairs into TV to get this stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And to have, I love, I've talked about this before. Green Room is something Just for Laughs does, which they have Tony Provenza. Do I say that right?
Paul Provenza.
Paul Provenza. Sorry.
No, you're
we
not
could cut this part. You don't have to video this. I'm just telling these guys. And it's a panel with 6 comics, and they talk about stuff, and then the audience is around them, and it's so awesome, right? So that was kind of the inspiration. I want this to be the show portion of eventually. Anyway, so we were talking about welcome, of course, and this is always the post-game edition of Inside Jokes. And I want to talk about, Tom, we were talking about, actually all of us. Here at Chorus, we have Nelvana, which creates the animated, is animation, and also Kids Can Press. And so, and we have Teletoon, and we have Treehouse. And so what people don't know, what I learned, which was really cool, and you guys talked about, often it starts with a toy, so Franklin the Turtle, and then the book is created by Kids Can Press to sell the toy. And further, the cartoon, the animation is created to sell the toy. Did I get that right?
Well, yeah. I think it's a lot different with kids stuff, and toys. Mm-hmm. Again, I think with Franklin, I think started with the book, right, and then became toys, and then became the show. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's just with kids' toys, they you're looking for 3 revenue streams.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So, but board games.
Board games are different. Again, every board game doesn't make a good show.
Okay.
What we tend to specialize in is funny games, right?
And knowing which
interesting.
board games translate into shows.
Exactly.
Like Tom said, they don't all translate
No,
into TV.
that's right.
It's a very
like
different
Clue.
medium.
No, well,
Clue.
Again, Clue
was a good movie.
Yeah, and it has been, and it's about to be again.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's going to be a movie again?
Hasbro is turning everything they can into a
features.
To sell the
same
game.
Reason, right? They're just
Transformers. That was their first one.
See, people don't know this, and it's fun. And as a parent, I just find it interesting, too. Right?
Making it turning it into something big. But we talk a lot about, there actually is this kind of insider thing, almost like a curse, about the big popular games. Like Trivial Pursuit has tried to do a game show twice, and it almost doesn't work. If you get too big, people have iconically linked you to the board game experience. So it doesn't necessarily translate to a game show, because people have this, Rick always says they have this preconceived notion of what it is. It's actually better to have something like where Tom is poised. He's a hit. He's a run. He's a home run. But we can take it now to TV and then find a future audience.
So there's a sweet spot of time.
Yeah. I think so, and also just whether they translate or not. You have to be able to really find and play test. Like we're doing another one, and we've had run-throughs, and it works as a game show. So you can kind of get the feeling as a producer to know whether it works or doesn't.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the thing is with Trivial Pursuit broke tons of ground when it came out. Mm-hmm. But really what it did was it took things that people were watching on TV and turned it into a board game. Because trivia was...
Like what?
Well, game shows.
Trivia
game shows in general.
Wow.
It was like a home version of
That's why we love that.
And there were other trivia games out there, and everyone knew people liked trivia at that point. But again, they packaged it properly. They designed it properly. So again, it had already translated well into a board game and sold, within 5 years, it sold about 25 million games. As Laura said, then it was iconic then. So once you do the opposite, it didn't translate as well because, again, that format was great as a board game.
Yes,
it wasn't a great format for a TV show.
And you know what? Also, I have to say that it's so expensive to make a TV show. Yeah. So a lot of shows, they come and go. People just don't have the money or the tenacity to stick with something. We're in our 2nd season of Celebrity Name Game. We're praying we get to season 3. And then our agent in LA has said, if you can get to season 3 in syndication, you can get to season 30. So we're like knocking on wood because it almost takes that long to get a following.
Interesting.
And get the ratings that you need to justify the expense.
Well, going back to the theory of what came first, of the chicken or the egg, the game show or the board game, is anything designed or conceptually visualized with a certain format in mind for something like a host? Is it always needed to be or predominantly want to be a stand-up comic? And if so, did you ever have a comic in mind to host a show?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think all game shows are, because I mean, you wouldn't say Pat Sajak necessarily
No.
is a
Well,
comic. You wouldn't say
this-
He did have a late
No,
night run.
depends
Thank you
whether
for bringing-
want the straight man.
No, but I'm glad you brought this up. I actually wanted to bring this up in the interview on how you look at Alex Trebek, Bob Barker. Those guys were not stand-ups.
No.
Nor was Pat Sajak. I don't believe he may have been actually. I tried to look that
a
up.
talk show, but
Yeah.
he's
I think
so-
he was. He was in his early day.
But-
Like if you look
But
at
he
early
has a
80
straight
clips,
man kind of quality
Right.
too,
But
right?
now Drew Carey
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Price is Right.
everybody's getting replaced by stand-up comics.
Steve
Right.
Harvey and
Steve Harvey.
and that's
Yeah.
why I
Craig
want to ask you.
Ferguson,
Craig
and Wayne
Ferguson.
Brady.
And
So
Wayne
that's our
Brady.
company is Fremantle, and they have this
Okay.
this quartet now, and we were the
Stable.
last one to kind of welcomed into the fold. And when we got Craig, we looked at it ourselves. and
Like
just
you guys
we
remember
haven't-
Richard Dawson?
Yeah,
You'd be arrested if you didn't have the stuff.
He was
did.
the makeout
know.
king. He wasn't
Kissing
a
everybody on
No,
the.
I know.
Full Match Game. He came out of Match Game, right? And
Right.
like,
Oh,
he's
did
so
he? Oh.
iconic on
Yes.
that.
Yeah, he
God,
was
he's
like a
And Family Feud, actually, Little Strange Trivia, was built from Match Game.
Oh, that's
That
why I
came out
loved.
of
There
Match
is
Game.
a
Yeah.
connection.
And Gene Rayburn was there.
Yeah, and
Oh,
he was
yeah,
like
before.
the corral leader,
Yeah.
right?
So
But so I think the thing is with you just got to be careful putting us all into the same basket because every TV show is different,
Yeah,
right? And
really
every game
depends.
is different, and so what we're getting good at
in
is,
comedy, you made a
is-
point of that.
Well, it's
Yeah.
comedy to begin with. That's what sort of the realm we're dealing in. But again, we're all three quite different as well. And
Yeah.
Rick knows so much more about game shows than I do, right? And so not just comedy game shows, but all the game shows. He's a wealth of knowledge in those regards. But again, so you got to take a look at what you're trying to do. Are you just trying to create a game show? Coincidentally, are you trying to make a board game into a game show? Does this board game fit? Everyone is totally different.
If it's a comedy game show, you might want a straight man as the host and let the comedians do what they do best.
Yeah.
And have a foil,
Interesting.
right?
Exactly.
If you have a comedian like Craig Ferguson, he wants to be this sort of center stage of the funny.
Right.
He wants to own the
Yeah.
funny, and he's going to bounce off some funny moments of our contestants. But he is the king of funny. Whereas if we have a comedy panel game show, you want to focus on them and have somebody that kind of feeds them, you know, like a
What
straight
about a
man.
game show like
Match Game is.
Well, Match Game, but Hollywood Squares is what I was thinking of.
Oh,
Yeah.
Where they always had comics,
He
but then
was
they had the
Wait, who was the
one-offs in the
host?
corner.
We need a ringleader.
Yeah.
Somebody
Tom
that can.
Bergeron hosted.
Tom Bergeron
he
did.
was
Yeah.
a stand-up though, isn't he?
He is a stand-up.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
played the straight man
Yeah.
because he
Yes.
had 9 comedians
Yes.
in the squares.
But originally
so
Peter
he was
Marshall.
just
Peter
as
Marshall.
Marshall.
started,
Right.
Yeah.
See, and I guess
Straight man.
probably
Actor.
the best thing you can hope for is somebody that can do both.
Yeah.
If it's kind of falling
could
flat,
sit
they
back,
know how to like
Give a little
zing-
and sit back.
give us
yeah.
a zinger. Like
Yeah.
somebody like you, actually, you would be an amazing host because you can be one of the comedians, and you also can drive the format.
He set it
Steve
up.
Harvey could suck it. Family Feud, really? He's actually great. I watch it for him.
Well, he revived
Oh
Family
my
Feud.
God.
He revived
Family
it.
Feud was
Completely.
Big time.
Kinda
I know,
on
kind of
life
nerdy.
support.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he brought
Big,
it back.
great point. And who was right before Steve Harvey?
I think it was John O'Hurley,
Yeah.
Jay Peterman.
Jay
from
Peterman on
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, right?
Right.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
No. It was Louis Anderson,
Was he
and
the
it was
last
really.
one?
I think
Well, they had
he
a
was
lot.
after.
They went to. There was the next door
I think he
neighbor
was.
Oh my
on
God,
Full House.
On Full House.
Oh, no, not
no,
the next door neighbor. He was the
Home
Home
Improvement.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement.
Yeah,
Oh, Wilson.
I think
Wilson.
it was that guy.
Ray Combs, and then it was the
Yeah.
Home Improvement guy.
Wow.
Then Jay
and
Peterman,
it was
then
Jay
Louis, and then
Peterman,
that guy.
Louis,
I can't
and
think of
now
his
it's
name.
Steve Harvey.
He was.
Yes,
Yeah, he
but
played.
Steve-
He played with Tim Allen. He wasn't the neighbor.
Yeah,
he
I
was
can't
the
think of
guy.
his name.
He had a beard.
Oh,
It
yeah,
seemed
sure.
like.
Oh,
He worked. Yeah, the guy who worked with him.
Yeah.
was he a stand-up? That guy?
Was he a stand-up as
The
well?
the bearded guy from Home
he's
Improvement.
just-
He played Tim Allen's straight man.
Yeah,
Tim Allen
yeah,
was a,
yeah,
Tim
that's
Allen's
right.
a straight.
Straight
So
man.
That's right.
I
TV
think
show.
Yeah, that's
Steve
right.
Harvey has proven that show, like having a comedian that can
Yes.
milk those moments.
Yeah.
But
Oh
I
my
think-
God,
but-
he is
but-
huge right now.
But what you said earlier,
Yeah.
though, I think it really makes sense that if you have just a regular lay person in the
Yeah.
as your contestants, then you probably want a pretty funny person
Yeah.
as your host. Although again, of course, Wheel of Fortune and things
Yeah,
like
Pat
that.
Sajak.
You don't necessarily. That's not a funny show. So
Right.
it's great that he's got a bit of humor,
Yeah.
but really you just need somebody who's at ease.
Well, they're
But-
game though. Those like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune are so filled with game.
Yes.
That you don't even have time. I mean,
Yes.
Alex
They're not-
has he gets 30 seconds to interview.
Right.
Yeah, when was the last time Alex Trebek was funny?
Game.
Yeah,
Ever.
And
And
he's
they're
not
all
funny.
set up to just be
He's
straight.
hot
Right.
though.
They're not
So who
funny.
cares?
They're not funny.
He's
Trebek?
hot.
Yeah.
Trebek's hot. I don't
like
care what
that
anybody
guy.
says. There's something about him. I don't- you know what? And plus, it's the
And he's
Will-
tough.
he's
a
tough.
guy. He beat
Alex
the guy
Trebek,
downtown.
with
Did he?
stash or without?
It's so funny on our show, in our third round where Craig's giving the clues. Sometimes people get so flustered and they say, "What is
Yeah, it's so
Shakira?"
iconic.
And he always goes, He says, "That's a correct answer, but do I look like Trebek to you?"
See, that's a
Always makes the
comedian.
people so like they feel so embarrassed.
So let's
He
talk.
loves those
So can we
moments.
talk about Jane Lynch for a second? Because there was comments from comedians about Jane Lynch is not a stand-up. She was at JFL this year, by the way, in Montreal, doing her first stand-up.
Wow,
So it was interesting, and she's a good host.
she
but,
is good.
But
She came out of improv though, didn't she? 'Cause she
Yes.
did all
Oh
those
yeah, she
Yes.
did the
sketch
Guffman.
movies.
That's right.
So
Like,
she has
waiting for
improv
Guffman
skills,
and
which is
Best
another
Show
really
and all
good.
that stuff, right?
Which
So
is
her
very
improv
important.
Yeah, I
skills
think
are
that's a
really
big-
tight. But stand up, but yeah, I think she's just testing.
Just being
stand-up.
comfortable to go with the moment, is really important because game shows also you don't want to have to edit them. They're a well-oiled machine because we shoot 6 in a day.
wow,
So people don't know that. But Hollywood Game Night doesn't, but they really don't want to have to stop tape as much because it's kind of the flow. So you need a host that knows how to.
And too, on Hollywood Game Night, she's dealing with 6 celebrities.
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what
A
I
lot
was
of
just gonna say.
personalities in that room.
Yes, there
that
is.
She has to make
It's a
sure
special quality
yeah.
to be a host, to
When
be
I have
able
comics?
to play the moment and play
Well,
the
yeah,
people.
of course.
And work with the egos and everything. So
well,
I
they're
think there's-
drinking
there's-
too. Are they really
And they
drinking?
are
Yeah,
drinking, yes.
They
I
are
love
drinking.
it. That's just so
I know.
retro. It brings you
It's
right
great.
back to like Dean Martin sitting at the
I
chairs
know.
with the guys.
It was
Back to
smart.
Match Game, they were smoking.
Oh, right, Match
Yeah.
Game, and
Like
even
smoking on TV.
Hollywood Squares.
Smoking on
So
TV.
crazy.
Yeah,
So
Like Brett Summers
Old
was
school.
like,
Brett
yeah,
Summers. I
I
love
know.
it.
put my smoke
She was
down.
great.
And we're down
we
at-
talk all the time that we were game show babies. I came
Yes.
home after
Oh,
school and
I-
watched
yes.
game shows, and so did Rick. So we
Best
are
babysitter,
like, we're
man.
kind of
Yeah.
savants. Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
And
Savant's
if my
right.
parents had
Yeah.
known, because Match Game was pretty racy back then.
Yeah.
And I was
I-
like 7, 8 years old eating this.
Paul
stuff, and
Lynn.
My parents were totally fine with it.
There should be a game show board game of just trivia about game shows.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Oh,
Doesn't
mind
stop. Cut.
blowing.
Cut!
Cut! Don't let
Just blew our
anybody take
minds.
that.
Just blew our minds.
That's
Yeah.
game show.
I never knew what
babies.
sex was until I heard the word whoopee, and then that's what I thought it was, whoopee.
How about the
We're making
newlywed
whoopee.
game?
What's
What
sex? What's you guys talking
what,
about?
white.
Mommy, what's
What's the
Whoopi?
name?
That's
Newlywed
'cause
game
at the
guy.
end you
Funny
go,
name.
"Whoopee."
Oh, Chuck Woolery.
Oh,
Which one?
newlywed game.
Oh, no,
Oh,
yeah.
Newlywed Game. Oh, the Newlywed
Wink
Game.
Wink Martindale?
Wink
Bob
Martindale.
Yeah, Wink
Oh,
Martindale.
wait.
And then
No,
on our
those
pilot
ones.
for
Tic-tac-toe.
the thing that we sold
Tic-tac.
our show,
Bob Eubanks.
how we sold
Bob
our
Eubanks.
show. Oh, Bob Eubanks. That's what it was.
Yeah.
We had we had a great sizzle reel that we sold our show on, and Craig was being interviewed with Courtney and David, and he said something about that he said, I don't want to be Wink Martindale. Well, I kind of do. I just want to be called Wink.
I know that was always as a kid.
It was a funny little moment.
you know
Like,
the
he's like,
memories. We grew up. They were our
Yeah.
babysitters. They
Yeah.
were
they
our
were.
family
Right,
members.
Bob
True.
Barker back in the day.
Bob
Oh,
Barker.
God.
Still to
What?
be best game show host.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
think of the number of hours,
Well, after Craig Ferguson.
1 hour a
Still
day,
going
you
to
spend
second.
5 hours a week as a child with
Yeah.
Bob Barker. That's daddy. I
Yeah.
thought he was my daddy.
I know.
I mean,
So
right?
Great with those contestants. Like,
Yeah,
you would
he
get
was.
those contestants to the point where they'd almost pee their pants.
Yes.
Playing
And the whole
game.
They
college
loved
thing,
him.
like if you can get the college
Oh my
kids to love
God.
you, and it becomes this sort of cult thing,
Yeah.
like yeah.
And they'd paw all over him. And he'd
We're like,
be-
Is that let's make
Move
a
over,
deal.
Mr. Rogers. I want Bob Barker.
Yeah.
My mind was going there too.
Let's make a
make a
deal.
deal.
Oh,
Another
yeah.
classic.
Oh yeah.
Monty.
Hall.
I carried a
Monty Hall,
hard-boiled
that's
egg in my
right.
purse for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Just thinking him.
What was
I
that?
said I carried a hard-boiled egg in my purse for years.
Yes.
I want that $100.
For that
baby.
$100 with a costume, and I to this day as an adult, I didn't understand it as a child,
It's
and I don't.
brilliant.
understand. People went
Well,
in
the-
those costumes.
I know.
Comic
Oh my
Con.
gosh. We
The
shoot.
trivia of that is the costumes weren't part of the original format.
Oh,
People came to the
Savant.
show. A
Savant.
couple people started coming in costumes, hoping that Monty
hoping
would be
that they
like,
would see them.
who are these crazy people in costumes up there?
Genius.
And it worked. And then they were
Yeah.
like, this is kind of cool. Let's make this part of
That's-
the format.
yeah.
And then they forced people to come in costumes.
And we shoot on the same lot, so there was always a lineup
oh
of
my
like
gosh!
huge
Freaks.
Snoopy dogs and
Yes.
like, crazy like.
Okay, but I remember living in LA and I wanted to get on the Prices Right or something like that. And
Yeah.
like the lineups are
Oh, the
insane. Like
lineups are
5:30 in the morning you're
Yes.
there and the studio to get on the studio lot just to get picked to get into the audience.
Yes.
I
To
know.
hope maybe you get in as a contestant.
Yep.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like,
All live TV.
I was
like
on
that.
a little bit of trivia for me. My mother was a huge Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy fan. She watched it every single day. It was
Wow.
like, don't interrupt. And when I moved to LA, she came down and so she forced me to go to an audition. And we got on the show. We went on like a mother-daughter
On which one?
on a family on
Wheel
Wheel
of
of Fortune.
Fortune.
On Wheel of Fortune.
That's
And
awesome.
we won $11,000. But
Oh
we
my
almost won the
goodness.
whole thing. We were so mad. I was like, you're the only two broads in Canada that just won 11 grand and you're mad.
American, so it's like 500 grand Canadian.
Yeah.
Exactly. Wheel of Fortune, there's a comedian who, I think it's Frank Spadone's joke actually. He talks about how the Italian immigrant parent, like my mom, loves Wheel of Fortune. She can't speak or write, but she loves Wheel of Fortune. My aunt too. It's amazing. And I always said if there's like Treehouse for Kids, there should be a seniors channel, which all game shows, because seniors love
there's a game
their
show
games.
channel, right?
The game show channel.
There
No,
should be.
right? But
Eh?
the Italian ones, though.
Well, the Treehouse for Kids. What's the ones for
Is there a
seniors?
game show channel?
Just Stump.
It's Game Show Network.
Game Show Network.
Yeah.
But not
And
here.
there's game.
Yeah.
Just
No, because
game.
I put that for my mom.
Sandra, it's
believe me.
Treehouse for Kids. It's Stump for seniors.
Stump.
Just the Stump. You're watching Stump.
It stopped growing? That's horrible. It's dead? What?
It got cut down. You got to count the rings.
That's good.
This week on Stump.
Oh, yeah. We're getting down with it. So, final words, my fine Laura Robin. Now, here's a visual portion of the radio. I'm bringing radio to
Yes, we
life
have
here.
Laura,
Good.
Tom, Richard.
Yes.
Final
Lovely,
words.
lovely to be here.
Yes.
Any time to talk
Can't
about
wait.
board games and game shows is my.
I'm having you guys back.
Time to
Yeah.
talk.
When's the toy fair?
Well, there's a bunch of toy fairs.
End of January?
Well,
Canadian one is in.
if it still exists, it's in January. They teamed up with the American Toy Association last year and didn't have a toy fair last year. You know what? I don't know if we should use this because I don't even know the
Yeah,
details.
but that's
The
fine.
American one is for usually the second week. It's right around Valentine's
It's
Day.
always
Okay.
It's always Valentine's Day. It's always a huge snowstorm in New York.
And actually, there's the big deal this year is that, and I don't know if you guys know about this or not. We may have talked about it, but that the toy fair in New York is the biggest one in North America. But it's a toy fair that's it's basically about toy companies and retailers, right? But it's not open to the public.
Okay,
But
trade
this year,
show.
for the first time, they're opening
It's a
the
trade
North Building at the Javits Center, and that's going to be.
That's going to be the public.
Yeah,
That's
so it's a
smart.
big deal for. Well, we'll see how smart it is because it's double the work now for all these companies, right?
True. Yeah.
And it's the wrong time of year.
Because the consumer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
true.
It's January. It's February.
So this
That's
is
why there's one in Chicago that's really that
Yeah.
Tom just was at.
and that's
was that-
that's open to the public. That one.
Yeah, and it's fun because they can come in and buy games for Christmas, right? So people do.
Oh,
come
love
in
that.
And buy. It's great, and people are
good.
and the families are allowed in free, and they just get to really get excited about games.
But it's funny because you said when the toy fair,
Yes.
the New York American Toy Fair. That's everybody in the business just calls that toy fair. That's
That's
toy fair.
true.
Yeah, because it's
Right.
New York.
There's all kinds of other fairs around. Like Chicago is Chi-Tag.
Okay,
There's a
good.
Dallas fair. There's
Yeah.
Astor, which is another independent organization. There's all these fairs.
The
But
license
toy
is
fair.
right, Yeah,
Yes.
Toy fair. It
It's
is
the
New
Trump
York.
of toy
It's
fair.
pretty crazy
just
there.
toy
Two,
fair.
that's
Well-
that's when you know.
Yeah,
it's a
there's-
party.
There's a couple of toy fairs. There's two toy fairs that are bigger in the world. One in Nuremberg and one in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't there? When, yeah.
The one in
I think I heard you
Nuremberg.
talking about
The
it.
first time I went to Nuremberg, there is a room that is just trains, just toy trains,
Whoa.
and that room is bigger than the Canadian Toy Fair.
Wow.
There are 14 of those rooms in
Oh my
Nuremberg.
God.
Yeah, so it's huge.
Massive.
It's so much
Wear
fun.
comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And you're there for hours,
Yeah.
just sucking up.
Days.
Well, thank you so much. This was so much fun for me. I can't wait to play Game of Things on Christmas Eve with my crazy family. No, really. They're nuts. And tune in every week, Sunday nights, 8 o'clock, or our podcast on 640toronto.com. Kay, thanks. You don't have to answer that. I'm just going to talk one way like I do with my family at Christmas. Okay.
Not expected answer.
Yeah, let's all leave with a big dating game kiss.
Yeah, oh my God. I always say that. That's
And now
so
we're going to
funny.
take a picture with the box.